sir. Roger says, good morning, Andy and crew. Hope everybody has had a successful something or other. Didn't quite catch the last bit. It disappeared off the screen. Right, bear with me whilst I get organised at this end, Roger. With you very shortly. There we go, look. Good job, YouTube. Fantastic. Dum, adverts. There we go, look. A successful week. Yes, Roger, I've had a very successful week. Busy as always and pretty knackered. And not looking forward to today's task, which is the last of the undersealing. 2 more ROVs to do in full. I've still got a couple more to touch up that are already in service. But yeah, it's a horrible job. It really is. Don't like it. I always enjoy the shower afterwards. You definitely need a shower after you've been undersealing. It's horrendous. And the amount of black goo that gets up your nose. And I've tried wearing a mask, but you just get too hot and sweat. It just gets in the way, you know. And the same with safety glasses. It just doesn't work. It all steams up because you're clambering around the vehicle underneath and stuff. And nah, no good. Right, bear with me. So it just looks like you and me, Roger. Oh, we've got 5. Good morning, 5 people. 8. Oh, we're going up the right way. 1 like already. Thanks, Roger. Simon Raw. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Simon. Welcome aboard. Kill Switch, BB. Hiya, folks. Here we are. Hope we're all well. I'm going to start reading from here because they flick up way too quick. Kill Switch says, hiya, folks. Hope we're all well. I think so. Pretty knackered. But okay. Mike Bazanski. Good morning, all. Good morning, Mike. Welcome aboard, sir. Sheldon Rush, good day, Andy and crew. Sheldon could not resist the thumbnail title. The best pie in the world. Well, as it happens, and we've got another one from Attersbar just down the road, because she texted Mrs. Mechanic yesterday and says, hey, we've got, wait for it, got to get it out of the box without damaging the box. Oh, useless. We've got... It's not a steak and cheese. They don't do steak and cheese. It's a mince and cheese. Look, it's even got an M. Don't fall out. It's even got an M on the top, look, for mince and cheese. So, just going back to last week's pie, I was absolutely stuffed by the end of that one. I mean, they are massive. They're like 2 pies in one. Really cool. So, we'll get to the pie a bit later on. Not too late, but I need to finish my cigarette. Simon, smash the like. Good job, Simon. Keep it up. Daz. Morning, Andy. Morning, Daz. It's a bright, sunny, I won't say crisp, but it's a nice, bright, sunny morning this morning. Although there is forecast rain later on. 50% chance of rain was what it was last night. Sheldon, wow, what a pie. You're right, Sheldon. I'll have to try and bring you one down. It's going to be touch and go, but we'll see what we can organise. Roger Heaps, pie has more. It looks great. And I mean, to be perfectly honest, and I'm not a chicken pie fan at all. It's not what I would go for in a pie. I don't like the flavour of chicken in a pie. But last week's just blew me away. It proved that it can be done. And what a most excellent pie it was. I keep going on about it, but it was a bloody good pie. If you're really hungry, that's the pie to go for. If you're not particularly hungry, then I wouldn't recommend it because you're just going to be stuffed by the end of it because you're going to want to eat all of it because what a waste otherwise. And don't forget, they're not cheap. I think they're about $9.50, Mrs. Mechanic was saying. Kill switch. Pie. In the voice of Homer Simpson. I can't do Homer's voice. Pie. Didn't work, did it? So, I was talking about underseal, and traditionally, we don't get me underseal can. Hang on, bear with me. God, I hate going off camera. But anyway, it gives you a chance of a little... Oh, a different view of the workshop, by the way, because there's stuff everywhere. So, get rid of the cigarettes. This is the old style can. It's a bit horrible, isn't it? That's the 3M stuff that we use, which is 08861. Yeah, I can't read backwards, 61. bloody good stuff. Really, really impressed with it. But there isn't any of this left in New Zealand. It's all gone, be it grey or black. It's just been used up. And, oh, pardon me. And they're not going to get stock again until January, which was no good to me at all. So, I reached out to Jared at Forge and I said, Jared, do you know where I can get some of this underseal from? It needs to be bitumen based. It's not stone chip. Stone chip's a completely different product. And I didn't want to use the water-based stuff either because it just doesn't seem to last as long. And it also bleaches in the sun and it cracks, which is bad, really bad for underseal. And some of this underseal is actually not underneath, it's on top. So they do get a lot of sun when they're parked out on the beach. So Jared said to me, he said, oh, believe it or not, we do underseal. And I'm like, you're serious? He said, yes, we do. And I said, well, have you got any? And he says, yes, I've got 24 cans. I said, is it bitumen based? He said, yes, it's bitumen based. I said, perfect. That's exactly what we need. So I popped down. Well, Jared actually dropped it off at work for us. We managed to get 24 cans of the bitumen based underseal from Forge. I had no idea that Jared even did it. I do now know. Jared, if you're watching, I really could do with a new Schutz gun as well. So if you want to give me one of those on order, because the old one is looking pretty mank and it's over 10 years old. However, just getting the old can back. And this one, I believe, is made in, yes, there you are, look. That's the contact details there, look. I think it's made in Germany. I'm sure it's made in Germany. Yes, made in Germany, just above the QR code. You probably can't read that from there because it's tiny print. Made in Germany. Where's this one made? I think this is also made in Germany. I have a hunch. Does it say? I haven't even looked, to be honest. But I think it will be. But Jared would know where it's made because he knows everything. But anyway, if you look at the cans, that might be a standardized can for Schutz guns. I know the thread is at the top, that's for sure. And obviously the length is also critical because you've got the tube that goes down the inside. But, I mean, aren't they similar? You know, I mean, the same diameter, same folds on the cans, same sort of lid. I know this one's all rusty, but it's the same kind of lid, same kind of lock mechanism, same little pull tab. Need I go on? And this is a lot cheaper. It is. It's far more, what's the word? Competitive. However, I don't know what's inside the tin yet. Yes, I know it's bitumen based, but today will be proof of the pudding. And I'll make a note of the VIN numbers of these two ROVs. So when they come in for service in a year's time, or hopefully they'll get the first service, who knows? But when they come back in, if they do stay in the area, then I'll see how good the underseal's doing because I mean, Forge is a really good quality brand, but so is 3M. So I'd be interested to see how the two compare. Oh my word, where are we now? Done that. Jim K is on board. I had a good long chat with Jim K again during the week. It's very nice for him to give me a call. So thank you very much, Jim, for that. I do appreciate our conversations while I'm driving. I spend a lot of time behind the wheel at the moment, running around getting stuff done. Usually, trying to cram it all into 1 or 2 days. I am back up in Auckland again next week, but only on the Friday because on Thursday I have to go and get my second jab. I do. It should have happened in the South Island. It didn't. I was way too busy, and I didn't want to risk being stuck down there ill, due to a reaction, alleged reaction. I mean, Mrs. Mechanic's been fine, and a few people I know have complained about a numb arm, but anyway, so I put it off, and it's going to get done next week, so that's good. Happy with that. It's not that I've deliberately put it off. It was just a logistical element. Kill Switch BB normally all comes out of the same factory, packaged for different brands. I didn't want to be the one to say that. That is possible. I mean, I'll probably get a pretty good idea by the consistency and the finish that it gives and everything, and just how it goes on. And obviously I'll report back. Simon, Have a look at the safety data sheet for the underseal. It may have a list of what's in them. I will. Jared, if you're watching, and Jared does watch a lot of the live streams when he gets a chance, can I have a data sheet, please? I think I've got a 3M1 somewhere already on the laptop. Jim K, good man. I do my best. Right. Actually, I better show this one first. I did get a coffee really early on this morning. It is now cold, but you know what I mean? Steve, if you're watching, you're awesome, mate. Stick with it. So, the thumbnail. What was the thumbnail all about? Well, those that have been watching the previous live stream, and I know, pretty sure that all of you have, to be fair. Pretty big fabrication job came in, which included, well, the job itself was outside work, but the actual design of the plates and how we were going to solve the problem was something that I did, during work time. These plates, did they turn out to be harder to do than I thought? Actually, no. I mean, Mrs. Mechanic has been brilliant. If I show you, she's got in fact, I'll just unplug you. Hang on. Let's get the pie on as well. Hang on. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Boom. Right. So, let's do the plates first. These are already in shot. So we've got here all the plates for the first batch. I don't know if we're doing any more batches. We might be doing lots more batches. We might be doing no more batches. I have no idea at this point in time. However, it's always interesting to see what's involved as regards the workload to get this kind of stuff pumped out. Now, just to reiterate, for those that aren't aware, the plates came in laser cut to my design, and the holes were already laser cut undersize. They weren't countersink like this, where the countersinks exist. All these holes were already cut out as well. Those are just drainage holes, but they are speed holes, which obviously will make the ATV go faster, which is what it's all about. Now, I made a little note this morning of just the number of processes involved. Now, there's 100 of these, well, actually 102, a couple of spare ones. We'll round it off to 100 pieces. So there's 600 countersinks to do, which we did on Sheldon the Mill. Yes, we've named it after you, Sheldon. Sheldon the Mill did all that work brilliantly, by the way. Then we had to drill them out 9.5 to give it a little bit of movement, a little bit of clearance, and then there was the deburring on the underside of the plates. So that's 1,800 processes that had to occur to get these plates good to go. There's no need. They're actually really, really well cut. There's no burrs on the edges. There's no need for me to flap disc these plates whatsoever. They just need a quick clean up with some Scotch-Brite, and then we can get them in paint. So remember that number, 1,800. Plate B, 2 boxes of those. There's 100 pieces of those, and there was what was it? Those 2 holes there. This is good for archiving, actually. 8.5 on those, 9.5 on those, and of course you've got to deburr both sides just to make it nice and neat. So 1,200 processes on those 2 plates. Now this plate D, little bracket. What we've got there, 8.5 drill. There's 100 pieces of those, so that's 200 processes of that, and then deburring 400, so another 600 there. And just having wandered around the workshop, and that's Mrs. Mechanic's drill on a specially lowered workbench, so she can work stood up. It works brilliantly, actually. She really likes it, and she can put her boxes down on either side, so to do on this side and done over there, and she just rattles through them. She's brilliant. Really getting the hang of it. Now, these are a bit more complicated. Plate C, that's what it looks like. They're already pre-folded by the laser cutting people. You can see there's you can tell from the camera there's a 3.31 degree fold here, or bend, and another 3.3 degree fold here. So the 2 ends are actually parallel. I know it won't probably look like that on the camera, but they are actually parallel. And that's important because this plate here sits at a very slight angle, which is, of course, 3.31 degrees. So on here, we had, now our original design was 7mm in here, again, to give it a clearance. There's a 6mm bolt going through, but we opted for 6.8 because that's the tap size for the middle hole. So it helped to reduce the messing around. The number of overall steps was reduced. So we did 6.8 in all 3. I then tapped out using the Makita brushless drill, which has got a bit more grunt, tapped out all the holes, And then, of course, we have the deburring to do on the drill holes. We didn't deburr on the tap holes just in case we damage the threads or fold over a thread, and that makes it hard to assemble. So it's not too bad. There's a little bit of roughness, but it'll be fine for what it needs to be done. And again, there's no cleanup required. So plate C, there's 200 of those. So drill 6.8, and there's 3 holes, that's 600 processes. Tap M8 by 1.25, that's 200 processes, 1 tap hole per plate. And deburr, well, there's 4 holes to deburr, so that's 800, because you do both sides, 800 processes, so another 1600. So quite a bit of work, actually, and just slowly walking around the workshop, because I know YouTube doesn't like the image changing too quickly, otherwise it sort of dumbs down the quality. I made a little note. Here's the total. Total of 5,200 processes to get those done, and we've still got to clean every piece up. And there's 500 pieces here in total. They all need to be cleaned up, and they all need to be sprayed. Woo! Right, where's that pie? Okay, that's not right, Andy. Get it out of the box. There. Turn it round so you can see the M. Nice. Okay, to the pie warmer. Bom, 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 bom. Pie. Big ass pie, this one. Jeez, it's a proper tea pie. You could have that for tea with some boiled potatoes and some gravy, couldn't you? Right, okay, opening up the pie warmer. It's going in without any protection because it worked really well last time. Maybe a bit more. There we are. Right, that should do the trick. Yes, I know, it's a tip around this corner. Bloody hell, I need to have a tidy up. I like to keep all my lids, can you tell? I use them for, well, just stuff, basically. Okay, back to the bench. Back to the comments, I reckon, don't you? Okay, turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom, there we go, look. Okay, got to get you set up again now. Not used to this camera angle. There we go, that's going to work, isn't it? Right, I'm going to plug you in. I don't think there's any possibility of me doing a video today, but anyway, we'll just charge it up just to be on the safe side. Who knows? Maybe later in the week, though. Very possibly later in the week. Because I can't, in fact, the paint, here's a good one for you. So I rang up the paint supplier, which I'm using Wyrow Paints on the North Shore in Auckland. Very, very helpful chaps. They've got me out of the sticky points a few times with the underseal. When 3M's run out, they've had stock, and I've just got it from there. So thank you for that, Wyrow Paints. Explain what I was doing, and again, it's all about process, isn't it? I wanted to, I didn't want lots of different layers of paint because it all takes time and the handling and stuff. So I said, look, I need a paint that's already got an etch primer built in, just a single coat application. And he's like, ooh, that's dodgy. That might just come off. I'm like, well, it's not. I'm not too worried about the finish. It's going to be on the underside of an ATV. It's going to get covered in cow shit pretty quickly. And nobody's going to see them apart from the service guys. So he said, well, we do some container paint. I'm like, okay, what's that like? He says, that has got a built-in etch primer. It's not a full gloss finish. It's sort of a what would you call it? Oh, there's a word for it. I've forgotten the word. It's not matte, but it's sort of in between gloss and matte, like a velvet kind of finish, if that's the right word. I think it is. But it has got the etch primer built in. You'll still need to clean them up to give it a good key, but a single coat should be enough, but we would recommend 2 coats. Now, we'll see how we get on. But he said you can spray the second coat 15 minutes after the first coat. Oh, that sounds plausible. We could maybe do that. So I said, yep, no worries. 5 litres of that then, please. And he says, oh, you can't get it in 5 litres. You've got to buy 20 litres. Holy crap, 20 litres of paint. But he said, don't panic. It's not that expensive. And we priced it up. It's actually 20 litres of that paint is about the same price as 5 litres of the primer and the gloss that we got before, which was a PPG paint. I forget the number, but it was PPG paint. So I thought, well, we're quids in. We've got 4 times the volume of paint. That should do just nicely. So I'm picking that up on Friday. hopefully. I need to be up on Friday. I need to get these things painted and get them out, to be honest. And all the fasteners we're using will all be stainless steel, because there's nothing worse. Again, because they're underneath the bike and they're constantly covered in sheep and cow poo, that, you know, everything corrodes. And just having just normal fasteners in there would be a real pain for the techs, because there's most likely they're going to have to remove at least one of these footboard support plates during normal servicing to service the CVT drive and that kind of stuff. So I want to stay their friend. They know who designed them, so it'll be me that gets it in the neck if they have to start drilling bolts out and stuff, which won't go down too well. Plus, they probably aren't going to have countersunk M8s, you know, on the shelf. They're a pretty specific kind of bolt. We went for countersink, by the way, on the plate, so there's nothing protruding down to catch on rocks or tree stumps and stuff. The last thing you want is to be riding along and something snag and the bike, you know, stop instantly and you go over the handlebars. That would be really, really bad. Anyway, back to there's not many comments today. What's going on? Are you all been on the cider last night like me? Jim K, I'm still partial to 3M, as I told you. I like 3M. I like the 3M underseal. I've used it for probably 7 or 8 years now. It's really, really good quality, and it works extremely well. And the only reason why I had to broaden my supply was the fact that 3M have run out. And we will no doubt go back to 3M because they sponsor. The 3M underseal is provided under normal circumstances free of charge for the surf clubs, which is a massive saving for them. It really, really helps. So, you know, testament to 3M, top blokes. They've probably given us a retail value. I don't know what their cost is, but the retail value is probably about 20,000 New Zealand dollars so far over the last 4 years to underseal the new surf club machines. Where are we? Right. Hang on. Jim, I was thinking that when you were tapping, it may have been easier if you had a dish. Hey, wait for it. You have a dish of curing oil. That way you would have to, you wouldn't have to grasp the spray can. Right, Jim, hang on, bear with me, because you've got to remember that was an Instagram video, right? And you've got to get the product in there that you're using. So if we mooch over to the bin, honestly, who would show their contents of a bin on a live stream? You might have to believe me. I did put it in here. Honestly, who's going to run around the bin? Oh, that's right. I clean everything. It'll be under the sward. Ow, there he is. Right. Look, Jim. That's exactly what I did. I sprayed some of the spray into a little lid, and then every time before I would tap, I would just dip the tap while it was spinning on the drill into that and pop it through the hole. But that didn't look as good on the Instagram posts. I couldn't do it. But you're right. You're absolutely right. You've got to turning around. Hang on. 3, 2, 1. You're absolutely right. You've got to look as much as you can into streamlining various processes. Absolutely critical. And you know, I had a 200 holes to tap M8, and it took me probably an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes at the very most to do that with the drill. It was pretty quick. I was quite impressed, actually, how quickly we got it done. Yes, less steps. You've got to cut down the steps. You've really got to look. Otherwise, you can spend bloody hours doing stuff. Simon, tea time pies have to be with chips and beans. Ooh, I see. I'm not a fan of beans with pastry. Just don't like the combination of flavors. But hey, each to their own. You see, I would definitely have certainly that pie there. I would definitely have that with boiled potatoes, a little bit of butter on them, maybe some sweet corn, and lashings of thick gravy. Kill switch. Busy listening. Good man. John Nuttall. Hey, morning, John. Hey, Andy. Last time, I think you said you had one part short. Have you got one now? I do. In actual fact, I did actually very slightly overorder each piece, just in case I made a mistake, and I did make a mistake. When I was setting up the milling machine for doing the countersinks, so I was only using it as a pillar drill basically. It doesn't really have a super accurate depth stop. Let me show you. Let's go back. Sorry, I'm running around the workshop now, but if we do that, 3, 2, 1. Okay, nice and slow, nice and slow. So Sheldon's going to go, you're using it wrong. But I don't think I am. Oh, hang on. Let's get rid of that. Jeez. Oh, and it's a 2 horsepower motor, so I have to plug it in directly to the power supply down there. Otherwise, it pops the little boards. Anyway, so it does have an auto feed as regards feeding the column down when you're drilling a hole, and I actually had to play around with that and worked out how it worked. So what you do basically is you've got, sorry, it's a bit grimy, we do diversify. It's got right, it's got slow speed, so it goes down slowly. Nothing, that turns it off, I believe. And then you've got, well, it does actually go further around, but it's not in mesh. So you've got high speed, so it goes down a bit quicker. And to engage it, you pull this lever down like that. I think it only works when it's, oh, there we are, look, it's on now, so it's engaged. So by doing that, and you've got to, that's right, you've got to release that, that's right, to disengage this, and then it will actually start to go down on its own. And then, if you watch this little block here, you can set this block, this is like your height thingy, it comes down and it's going to catch that little plate there, and if I turn you around, you'll see what happens. So it pulls that down, that little plunger shoots in there, and now the lever's back up and it's disengaged it. So you can basically, when you're drilling a hole, once you've set your depth, you can pull that down, it will go down to set distance, whatever you set that to, and then it'll automatically disengage, but it doesn't spring back up. Now, should it? I think it probably should, but it doesn't, so maybe it needs lubing up. I don't know. But anyway, this is the only depth gauge you get. And because it goes down onto this plate here, down there, it's a little bit fuzzy is the final stop. Now, that's not too critical if you're drilling a hole, but it's absolutely critical when you're doing countersinks. These things. Because even 1/2 a mil difference makes a whopping difference to the size of your countersink. It has to be bang on. And when I was setting it up, I can't really see it because it's behind the mill and I'm not moving the mill. There's one on there which I actually did where the countersinks are way too deep. So, as in Angie's ingenuity, and Sheldon's going to hate me, you might see some little telltale marks on there. I actually put a pair, can I say this on camera? I put a pair of mole grips on here at the right depth, and to get it to fine tune it, I just put different size washers between here and the mole grips until I got the countersink absolutely bang on. And from that point on, every single one was perfect. Yes, good fun. But yeah, I know I shouldn't put mole grips on the side of there. That was really bad. I might have to come up with some kind of a stop that I can have on here that works against this bottom plate. It won't be hard to make something up. But sometimes you need a definitive, accurate depth, and that system doesn't really give you it. It's more designed for the auto feed bit. But the auto feed does work, Sheldon. Sheldon the mill. Who would have thought? It's bloody good. Right, how's the pie looking? Oh, we've got 15 minutes. It's looking very nice, isn't it? I'm slowly getting hungry. Looking forward to that. So we digress. All right, turning around again. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Perfect. I'm back. It must be time for another cigarette, I reckon. Get the laptop out of the shop. We don't want that. Anyway, cheers. But yeah, the mill, so much quieter. Wait for it. Than the pillar drill. Listen to this. That's quite noisy, isn't it? Yeah, the pulleys, it needs a new belt in it. But no, the mill, believe it or not, is a much quieter machine to use. It just feels a lot nicer, a lot more solid. So I was very, very pleased that it's already been earning its keep. It's done really well. And it's got a much larger motor on it, so it just doesn't slow down. It's quick, actually. It removes the material really quick. And having that depth stop set up properly, how I wanted it, I was able to rattle through the plates pretty quick. So I was very happy. I was getting a bit frustrated the first 2 or 3 I did. I just couldn't quite get it set up properly. And I was blaming myself. Also, and you might be able to help me with this, it was really weird. Now, obviously, the mill bed is perpendicular to the column, you know, the shaft that has the chuck on it. So every countersink should be perfect. I had 2 almost in a row, which were off center, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? This is it me? Is there swarf under the plate causing the plate to be at an angle? What's going on? And it turned out I played around with a bit, did a few test cuts, and it did keep happening about every 4th or 5th hole. So I changed the countersink bit. I have 3, so I changed it to I think it's an Amol brand, which Jared sorted me out. And from that point on, we never had a repeat. So whether it was maybe it was slightly blunt on one of the cutters, or it had a bit of swarf stuck against it. I mean, I did clean it a few times, but it was really weird why it was doing it. But the one that I finished off using, which I did the vast majority of plates with, was quicker, and it left a nicer finish, and very happy with it. And didn't have to use any kind of cutting fluid or anything like that. I tried it with cutting fluid, didn't seem to make any difference, so I just didn't bother. But I was wary about the temperature of the bit, and I would allow it to cool down every now and again. But I never had that problem of off-center countersink holes on the pillar drill. It only seemed to happen on the mill. But as soon as I changed the bit, the problem went away. So I haven't got a conclusive diagnosis of what was really going on, but I solved the problem and I was able to finish the job without any further errors. And they weren't massively off. You know, they were a bit off, and I wasn't happy with it, but they will still work for the job that they're intended for. But it doesn't look right. There's 2 plates that are a little bit iffy, but there are spares. So when I come to spray them, I'll pull those out, and they'll just go as backups in case I need a 51st kit to send out to someone, you know, urgently. Anyway, I ramble on as always. Yeah. So yes. Sorry, John. Going back to your original question, when I had the test fit plates cut, and I've got a set over there. Again, I had probably 3 or 4 extras of each, apart from the big plates of the smaller brackets. I had extras cut as well, just to make sure that everything was consistent and that the laser cutting, everyone was the same. There was no deviation from the specs that I gave them, and of course there wasn't. It's super accurate what they do. Although, to be fair, one of plate C, that's the 200 of those with the thread in it, one of those didn't have a hole drilled in it. How bizarre. You know, it didn't have the laser cut hole. It must have had a bit of a brain fart at that point. So obviously I just drilled the hole where it should have been, and away we go. It wasn't a problem. Kill switch. Ooh, and drinking beer. I had a lot of cider last night. It was nice, actually. Simon, countersink look a lot better for that job as well. I think they do. It just looks like somebody's spent a bit of time thinking about the job. And there is a potential that this might propagate a lot further beyond New Zealand. I just don't know at this point in time. I've already got the laser cut files, and I've got the drawings, so if need be I can just email them out to any other region that we need them in. Connor K, good morning, Connor. Hey Andy and crew, sorry I'm late, just got back from the supermarket, from Zombieland no doubt. Good job, well done Connor. Jim Haynes, I already hit the like button, but what kind of, as you say in GB, arse hit the unlike button. Do we still have? We do still have unlikes. I thought YouTube had got rid of it. It's still there. Oh well, we've got one unlike. I don't mind, because believe it or not, the algorithm just looks for responses from viewers, and an unlike is considered, as far as I'm aware, just like a like, if not has more importance, because it builds controversy into the whole thing. But anyway. Oh, my mic sounds far away. Really? It shouldn't do. It's exactly the same place as it was before. Maybe it's because I was doing the pillar drill. I don't know. Hopefully it's okay now. I'll try and speak up. How's that? Maybe I'm just tired. Jim, Panda, okay, after coming back to the tape. Oh, there we go. Cool. Excellent. Simon, is there not more give in the drill so the bit finds its own center? Well, there probably is slightly more give. Maybe. I mean, the countersink is going into a hole that's already there, which is about 8.5 mil. So that might have something to do with it. Maybe I should get them to laser cut a smaller hole. But saying that, I've not had a problem since. And it might be to do with the tip on the countersink. I know the AMOL one is physically a smaller countersink, but it goes up to that maximum size, whereas the other one is a larger counter. That could be it, Simon. You could have found it. It could be the actual tip of the countersink. Should we go and have a look? We should go and have a look. Let's go and have a look, because I know where they are. Right, bear with me again. Turning around, 3, 2, 1. God, you see, we work things out, don't we? It's great. Oh, and a Forge brake cleaner for in the pump bottle as well, which is ridiculously heavy. Right, what have we got? So, should be in here. Nope, should be in here. It is, right. So that was the good one. We'll have a look, we'll put it out in a minute. And my box of bits. That was the one that was causing me an absolute pain. So, oh yes, look at that. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue, really, because that's only about, what is it? About maybe 4 mil across on the flat, on the end. But this one is, well, it worked brilliantly. This one was most excellent. And Alpha, there we are, look, Alpha brand. So I'll definitely get some more of those. And I won't, you can't do things on camera. And I probably won't buy any more of those, to be honest. But the good thing about this one is it has a larger shaft. So it was the chuck was able to grip it better. This one did actually spin up a couple of times in the chuck. That was the only downside to it. But, oh, there you are. It's got some spec on it. Can you read that? Can you read it? Is it the right way up? It is. Very cool. Anyway, so there you go. Very, very happy with that. But that could have been the issue. I don't know. But at least now that I know to use, geez, if I remember, is to use that one. There we go. Right. Back to the bench. Again, how's the pie doing? Oh, flapping around with the camera, Andy. Oh, what was that for timing? That was perfect. Right, we'll give it 2 minutes to settle. And then we'll attack the pie. Okay. Oh, do you like this? Tool rules. Don't touch them. Don't borrow them. Don't move them. Or even look at them. Yeah. I sort of put it there for a different reason, actually, because it's a bit of a mess. Okay. Right. Look, an empty workshop. Everything's outside at the moment. I like my workshop. I really like it, actually. I'll go over here. Oh, also, Mrs. Mechanic noticed that when I'm sharpening drill bits on this side, which is what I do, my elbow is dangerously close to this, you know, because you're like, I suppose you like that, aren't you? You know, like that. Yeah. It's pretty close. So I might have to move this to this side and move that to that side. I think it's possible. Pretty sure it is. One day. Probably when I start to draw blood from that. Until then, I'll just put up with it. Anyway. Coffee's getting cold. Nice slow walk back. Yes, I know the CB750 is still collecting dust. In fact, it really is collecting dust. Look at this. Are you ready? Ooh, that's bad, isn't it? Mrs. Mechanic spent ages cleaning those. Sorry, Mrs. Mechanic. Right, I am back. Okay, so remind me in about 90 seconds time to go and get the pie. That's better. Okay, where did we get to? Machine NZ, morning Andy and crew. Maybe Machine NZ will know the answer to that, just confirm it. Did you see the bit about the countersinks? I'm sure you did. Connor K, the mic is fine. I'm back to normal now. It sounded a bit far away when you walked over to the mill. I was probably holding the camera too far away from me. It's only the mic in the phone. I don't have all the posh stuff, you know. I do have a Bluetooth mic somewhere that I bought that I've never used. I just need stuff to be quick and easy, and it seems to work pretty well most of the time. Cigarettes got out. Countersinks, yeah. Right, okay. Do I go over it all over again? Using the milling machine as a pillar drill, drilling countersinks, pre-drilled hole of 8.5, countersink for, I haven't got a bolt kicking around, but basically it's an M8 countersink bolt. And there was one or two where the countersunk bit didn't stay central. It migrated off. It actually cut the countersink as if the plate was on an angle. It'll still work okay. There was two that were like it out of 600 that I did, but it was still annoying. But I changed the countersunk bit for an alpha bit, which basically goes right to a point on the countersink. Not that it should make any difference because there was an 8.5mm hole there already. Whereas the original countersink bit that I used had about a 4mm flat on the end of the countersink before the flute started. So, you know, was that the reason? I don't know. I can't see how it could be. But I didn't have any more problems once I changed brands. Any ideas? Connor K, done that one. Simon, DB750. Oh, DB. See, dust bag. Yeah, it's collecting lots of dust. Okay, I think we're there actually. We're there. Have I caught up with the comments? You guys are super quiet this morning. I'm relying on you for content for my live stream, by the way. I haven't got much more apart from the pie eating thing, which we're going to do very, very shortly as soon as I finish the cigarette. Now, so you've seen what I've done this week. This has been a lot of late nights getting all these done. Mrs. Mechanic's been working on it during the day when I've been at home. She won't do anything when I'm not here because in case she has an accident or something. Yeah, safety third. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, admin work and phone calls and emails during the day. And of course, on an evening, late afternoon, evening, we were smashing out these plates. Did the last of it yesterday, got finished nice and early yesterday. Even got an ROV stripped ready for underseal this morning, which was great. It was a nice finish for the day. It was under the carport, nice and cool. It was just good to be back on the tools rather than drilling holes. So we got that done. Still got finished about 4 o'clock, which was nice. It's not often that ever happens, but we got, you know, Mrs. Mechanic was quite surprised. So we watched, had a double bill movie. First one was it Red Ticket or Red? Yeah, no, it had Dwayne Johnson and Deadpool guy in it. Then we watched another one. I forget the name of it. Can't remember. Good movie though. Mrs. Mechanic didn't like it. It was sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. It was good. Anyway, so next week I'm at home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I've got pretty much a whole week at home. Go for my final injection on Thursday, and Friday morning hot foot it up to Auckland. It's a there and back in one day job. Lots to do actually, and I've bought some more timber so I can actually start to put some posts up. On the way up to Auckland, believe it or not, I had to call at the dealership that I bought Trevor the tractor from. So I dropped him off because everything's turned up, all the accessories, including the auger for the backhoe. So we had a look at that and talked about how it was going to be fitted and how they were going to do the hydraulic side of it. We came up with a pretty simple solution, which keeps the cost down, which is important. For those that are interested, it's a single mount auger, not a twin mount, so it basically always hangs vertically, which makes it a lot easier when you're drilling the holes. You don't have to keep compensating the end of your backhoe to try and keep the whole thing straight, because obviously the angles change. So that was good. And it had the leak on one of the rear hydraulics, so they're going to fix that, and at some point I'll pick it up. But yes, got some more 100 by 100 posts, 6 meter long, H4 spec timber, so it's fine for in the ground. And now we've got the auger, should be all done, hopefully. Well, I won't be picking it up on Friday because I'll have an ROV on the back, so it'll have to wait another week for when that one goes back. But once we've got the auger back here with Trevor the tractor, we can start setting posts. And I've decided to build a smaller shed up the garden just for storage, which will have a bit of a deck on it as well, which would be nice in the summertime. Get the barbecue on there until we build the main deck. And the cut-offs from those 6 meter posts will be perfect for doing the posts for the deck outside the house, the back of the house. So trying to think ahead, managed to find a sawmill that actually had some, because timber's in very short supply over here. Guy sent me a quote through, paid for it straight away. He said, yep, put my name on it, it's mine, because he was getting a bit low on stock. So I've got an ROV and 26 meter lengths of 100 by 100 to bring down back with me on the Friday, plus all the fasteners for these, plus the paint. So yet again, it'll be another busy week. Right, I think the pie should be ready now. It's had a little bit of time to settle. Connor K, your sign reminds me of one I saw in a mechanic's bay once. $25 an hour labor. It's cheap. $35 if you watch, or $50 an hour if you help. Absolutely. I agree completely. Especially when those talky customers, they spend half the time just talking to you and you can't get on. Machine NZ, could be when they laser cut it, it produced a hard spot. Good call. Or the countersunk was getting hot and a chip got welded to the tip. Did you use cutting oil? I did use cutting oil to see if that A, speeded up the cutting, and B, prevented that from happening. Yes, it kept everything a bit cooler. It didn't really speed things up too much, because obviously you've got to apply the cutting. I don't have, a feed, so you've got to manually apply it, and that was just taking too long. So we'll just give it a go without and see how we get on, and just monitor things. But I think actually that's something I hadn't thought about, is a hard spot in the steel because of the laser cutting. That sounds to me the most likely option, actually. I think you could be onto something. And maybe by changing the cutter, the alpha cutter may have been sharper, could cope with that better. I don't know, but we had no further problems once I changed the cutter. Interesting. Right, let's go and get this pie. I'm getting hungry. 3, 2, 1. Again. Jeez, all these camera flip rounds. Right, nice and slow. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. Wow, look at that. It's golden, isn't it? It's going to be really hot. The last one was red hot. Oh, right. Oh, it's a bit soft. Oh, geez. Got to get the box. That's not quite the same as the last one. Right, I'm gonna put you. This is a 2-hand pie job. Hang on, bear with me. Oh, we got a drip. Oh my word, this could get really messy. Wow, the chicken pie was totally different. It was really, really rigid on the pastry. Golly. Oh, just for Machine NZ's benefit, those are the countersinks there, look. So when it's done correctly, there's about 1.5 mil left of the original bore, which is a 9.5 hole. So they are drilled 9.5 after I've done the countersink as the final hole. Right. Okay. Pie time. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't even think I can even hold it up to the camera anymore. Well, yeah, I'll do it in the box. There you go, look. Right, prepare yourself for bits falling out all the time. Jeez, how the hell do I do this? All right, let's be smart. Okay, I'm going to keep the box just in case it all collapses. We have a rupture, people. We have leakage just there. And I was pretty careful taking it out of the pie warmer. Yeah, we've got, if I just maybe flex, it's actually very, very thin on the base. Can you see that? Look, it's really, really soft. Whereas the previous one, the chicken one, was really hard. This is super flexible. Oh, we've got a, oh no, we've got, are you ready? You ready? Hello. It's got a crack running all the way across the pie. Oh no. Okay, well, I'm going in. It could end in disaster. Just line everything up. Holy shit, I'm going to turn it around. Oh, God. Right, just eat the pie, Andy. Wow. Wow, look, it's all collapsing. You can't eat that. Oh, man. This is going to be a catastrophe, a pie-tastrophe in the making. The whole thing is going to fall apart. This isn't a pie, it's just an explosion. Look at that. It's horrendous. Wow, I really had high hopes. It's going over the bench and everything. I might need a fork for this. Wow. The gravy is super runny. It is only a mince pie, so there's no nice big chunks of meat in there to try and hold things together. But holy shit. This is terrible. This is really, really bad. This is your worst nightmare when you're trying to eat a pie. Is the whole thing just collapses on you. Ah. Pie meltdown. John Nuttall centering. Oh, hang on. Oh, how deep in the ground are you setting the posts? Haven't really decided. We normally do about 60 centimeters. Obviously, they get concreted in. So, Jesus. I might go a little bit deeper. With it being for a building that's going to be full of... Oh, man. I'm going to have to show you what's in the cardboard box. It actually tastes okay. I mean, obviously, it's not a steak pie. It doesn't taste like steak. It really is mince. Bloody hell. Look, it's like a conveyor belt of mince coming out. It's just fluid. The whole thing is fluid. And the pastry just wasn't up to it. Oh, God. This is, bloody hell. This is most embarrassing to eat on a camera, to be fair, to eat to camera. It's like a river. Oh, man. Where do you start? Where do you go next? It's like damage limitation. Not a lot of talking going on. Sorry, guys. Would have been fine on a plate, but man, there's no way you could eat this pie on anything but on a plate. It's just horrendous. It has to be, oh, and it's hot. Look at that. That's not a pie, it's just mush. Jeez. Oh. Sorry, people. My apologies. Simon, dinner medals. Huh? It's definitely for dinner. Although already, best thing to do about the shop and your health is to quit those disgusting cigarettes. I quit in 2015 after 25 years of smoking. I never looked back. Something gross. Best to your health, Andy. Thank you very much. I will be quitting very soon, I'm sure of it. I only started smoking when I was 37, so I haven't been smoking as long as you have. Or did, should I say. Man, this is just horrific. Look! I think I should get some points. I should get some points for how I'm trying to manage this. If I was in a petrol station eating this pie, in all honesty, it probably would have gone in the bin, because I would not want to have risked getting the contents down my shirt, because obviously I'd be at work. And I'd probably either just given up or gone for something else. Wow. What a difference between the chicken and the mince and cheese. Jesus. We're nearly there. Wow. We get first time ever some blue roll for a pie. Oh man, that was just, I mean, realistically, I've only probably had about half the contents. Half of the contents, if I hadn't been sat down, half the contents would be clearly on the floor by now. And if I'd taken the punt and not knowing and tried to eat that pie whilst driving, well, it would either have resulted directly in an accident or just a mess everywhere all over the car. I mean, look, this is what fell out. All that. It's just horrendous. I'm not even going to try and eat that. That's going to get closed up, and I'll get Mrs. Mechanic to warm that up and give me a fork. We've got, oh, turn around. Look, I even couldn't get all of it in the cardboard. It was running out that quickly. Absolutely horrific. That's not what you want from a pie. It doesn't matter how good it tastes, and it did taste pretty good. That's not what you want from a pie at all. The whole idea of a pie is the contents are contained. Otherwise, you just buy a bag of mince and cheese, wouldn't you? Hey, Mr. Mouse is going to have a field day, isn't he? He'll probably bring his family and come and live in the workshop. Right. We need some scores. So, very different kind of pie survey. Now, the Foley partness and the runnability and stuff, they're just a couple of categories that we cover. There's a lot of other stuff we cover as well. So, first of all, the taste of the contents. Bearing in mind, it was a mince pie, not a steak pie. I've got to keep reminding myself of that. As we take into account, being a mince pie, how did it taste? It tasted pretty good, but not fantastic. I've had better mince pies. Not the Christmas ones, by the way. So what do I give it? I'm going to give it a 6. I think from a taste perspective, it wasn't bad. Structure, Foley partners, well, that, if you looked in a dictionary that had pictures or video, even better, and you looked up a Foley apart pie, that pie and this video clip that we've just done would be the definition of a Foley apart pie. It was horrific from the second it came out of the pie warmer. It gets a 0. I believe that's the first 0 we've ever given on the pie survey. Runnability score, exactly the same. It was just flowing. I'm going to give it another 0. I've never had a pie as bad as that one. The meat quality was okay, to be honest. There was no gristle in there from the bit of meat that I ate, and half of it's still in the box. The meat quality wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. I'm going to give them, what shall I give them? It is only mince. I'm going to give them a 7. I think 7's fair. Pie to crust ratio, going from memory. Oh God, it's repeating big time. The base was extremely thin, dangerously thin from a design perspective. So that's a major fail there. There was an awful lot of contents and very little pastry, although the top still had the folds and stuff. So what's it going to get? I feel inclined to score it low on everything, but I shouldn't do that. I've got to look at each individual aspect. There was an awful lot of filling, although I only got to eat half of it. Do we count the bit that fell out? Because that will be on the floor. And it was only down to my experience and skill set that I was managed to retain the contents that I did to be able to eat it. I'm going to give it a 5. I think we have to include the fact that if the contents fall out and hit the ground, which they would do if you under normal circumstances, or drop into the bag at least, you can't eat it. You've lost that contents, which is a big waste. And these are don't forget, this is a $9.50 pie. It's a very expensive pie. It should not do that. Pastry taste rating. I didn't even get a chance to do one of those. But the pastry tasted pretty good, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same pastry they used for the chicken pie, and it was actually quite nice. I'm going to give them an 8 for that. The pastry was pretty good. Still tasty when cold. I have no idea. There was no possibility of allowing that pie to cool down. I had to eat it that quickly because it was just falling apart in front of my eyes. I can't even remember what we gave the chicken one, to be honest. But would it still be tasty when cold? It was still pretty hot by the time I finished eating it. I don't know. What do we give it? Would I eat it cold? Probably not, in all honesty. 3. I'll give it a 3. We've got to give it a score. Post pie heartburn. Oh, now there are some scores that I've carried across from last week because it's the same supplier, same shop. So packaging design, I gave it a 6 because there was a bit of thought went into the box, and bloody hell, you needed it for sure this time around. Recyclable score, I give it a 9 because it's cardboard and you can recycle it, but there's no label saying you can recycle it, so they lose a point. But post pie heartburn, it has repeated on me a few times, even during the eating process. But there's no heartburn at the moment. But I'm going to give it an 8. That score might change later on in the morning. Stuffability score. I'm nowhere near as stuffed as I was when I had the chicken pie, that's for sure, because I've only eaten about 2/3 of it. The rest of it's still in the box. Am I stuffed? Well, not really. I probably feel about the same fullness as I would do if I'd had one of those pies from BP, from the Wild Bean Cafe. So, and I feel bad that I've lost all those contents. I feel that, it could be my fault. That's not good. I feel a loss. I was looking forward to eating all of that pie. Stuffability score. I'll give it a 7. Now the pie server attractiveness again was 7 from last week. Same lady that sold us the pie. Some pretty dismal scores on that pie. I was expecting the potential. I was expecting it to be absolutely phenomenal based on what we'd had before from that shop. Couldn't have turned out any more differently, could it? Right, let's have a tally up and see how poorly this pie really has done. Dum 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 dum. Should be an easy one to add up, shouldn't it? Okay, so we got 6 and 7, that's 13. Add 5 is 18, 19, 27, 30, 36, 45, 53, 67. 67. That is woeful. Right, we need one of those little magnetic strips, don't we? Let's go and get that. I forgot to get that out this morning. Jeez. 67. Man, that's diabolical. Oh, we got the mag mount, by the way, for the ute. Not sure if I showed you that. There's the mag mount for doing when we do the bike trip. And it looks like the bike trip is going to be on. Jacinda's given us the go-ahead. So Mrs. Mechanic's getting planned for that. Okay, so what was it? It was an Atters bar. Mince and cheese. Very runny. I just put little comments in there now, just reminders for later on. 67. Wow. Okay, where's that going to end up on the leaderboard? Let's go and find out. I think we'll be starting at the bottom, don't you? Okay, 67. Oh, it's going to be just under there. I'm going to sneak it in there, look. Second from the bottom. Honestly, you couldn't have two different pies. Second from the bottom, and the chicken pie right at the top. All I can say is massive inconsistency in the way that the pies are put together and the structure, which let the whole thing down. If that pastry had been nice and hard like it was on the chicken pie, I think they'd have scored a hell of a lot higher. What a shame. Oh well, back to the bench. Wow, that went, in my opinion, very, very quickly. Didn't have any time to ramble on, you know, or assess the pie in a really structured manner. It was all, holy crap, it's falling apart. Got to eat it now. So my apologies that I wasn't speaking very much. Oh my word, hang on. Lots and lots and lots of comments. What's going on? I shouldn't read ahead. Right, Purple Monkey, 1974. Going to lose a lot of points, this pie. Mike Bazansky, that pie shot itself. Pretty much did. Simon, did you not get a straw with that pie? I think we should have done. Kill Switch, pie nil point. Beos, hi from Greece. Beos, hi. Welcome to my workshop, and for putting up with somebody basically eating a pie that's exploding and dribbling food all over his hands. My sincere apologies. I think there's still some on there at the moment. It's not good. Oh, Nick Young, if you enjoy smoking, Nick, keep smoking. Oh, I can't read that one out. I can't. But thanks for the support, Nick. I know that smoking, it can only be bad for you. Obviously, you're drawing smoke into your lungs all the time. I did spend a lot of time back in the UK doing a lot of welding and stuff on painted chassis and galvanized steel and all sorts of stuff, and welding aluminium for my mate at his truck place. And you know, there's a lot of nasty fumes out there, and even when you're spraying and the chemicals you use in the workshop, the human body is actually incredibly resilient, and it's done an amazing job. But I mean, look, this is me. But I suppose over time it does drag you down. I mean, later on, you know, I'm going to be undersealing some ROVs again, chemicals. It has to be done. Yes, you can wear all the PPE, and if I had a hoist, it would be a lot more comfortable doing the job. But I don't have a hoist at the moment. That's in the making. I need to put up another carport at the side of the garage, so I've got the height, and I'll chuck a 2-poster hoist in there, and that's going to make that job so much easier, as with the servicing as well, obviously. But you know, we do inflict our bodies on so many bad things over the years, and yeah, smoking, that's one of them. But it is only one of them. That's the problem. So I got that, Nick. Thank you. I smoked heavily for 44 to 50 a day for 30 years. Oh man, that's a lot. And a trendy pack for the first 10 years. So 50 years. I now regret giving up 4 years ago. I don't smoke anything like that. On a normal day, up in all, when I'm driving around or doing work, um, probably if I'm away from home, especially, probably only maybe 4 or 5 cigarettes a day at the most. If I'm at home or in the workshop, and obviously with a live stream, I do tend to smoke a few more. It could maybe go up to maybe 10 cigarettes in a day. That would include on an evening watching TV and that kind of stuff. Far more social. If I go to the pub, then I tend to smoke a bit more there. So probably on average, maybe 8 cigarettes a day, maybe 9 at the very most. Um, some days I don't have any, and I don't feel the need to have a cigarette. Not very often, anyway. If Mrs. Mechanic has a cigarette, then I'll usually join her, but not always. Enough already. Nick Young, keep it up. Health and your pockets will reward you. It's bloody expensive in New Zealand. I mean, this is a packet of the longer ones. I think these are about $35. Talking of smoking, I'm going to have a cigarette. These are about $35. And so, that's going to be 2 of those a week, at least. That's $70 a week. It does add up. It really does. By the time you get to the end of a month, that's, what, $300? Maybe $400 in cigarettes? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of extra tools or other stuff, I should stop, and maybe I will. We'll see. Nick Young, enough already. Sorry, mate. My health has never been worse, and I've put on 80 kilograms fast after giving up the smokes. 80 kgs is a lot, mate. I put on weight regardless of whether I smoke or not, to be honest. I don't know what the reason for that is. I just like pies, probably. Nick, please, everyone, don't use vapes. No, I'll never use a vape to give up smoking. It makes your breathing get much worse. Wow. I think it's due to the vapes are heating up oils that you inhale, the fumes from causing breathing difficulties. I've heard a lot of bad stuff about vapes, and it's something I've never considered. I won't go there. Simon, do you know that you can get 2-stroke scented candle? Really? A mate told me today. That is a brilliant idea. I like that because I really like 2-stroke. I'll have to try and find one of those for Ben because he likes 2 strokes. Sheldon, the pie must have been made on a Monday. Or if you're in England, a Friday afternoon pie, we'd call that, where they were just rushing to get it done so they can get to the pub. Bruce, morning Andy, do you watch rugby? Only really when the All Blacks are playing, I suppose, because obviously I'm in New Zealand. But in all honesty, not very often. I remember staying up all night in Auckland. I just had to stay up all night because the game started at 6 a.m. So you've got to stay up all night for it. You don't just wake up early. And frequented many pubs that night to watch the game. Watched most of it, and then staggered home and fell asleep for the day. But no, I don't really watch rugby very often. I used to play rugby when I was at school. I enjoyed that. I was number 8, surprisingly enough. But yeah, good fun. Enough already. 4 years ago, hashtag 1821, found you Andy, even before girls. Been great to see the shop and you grow. Outwards, probably. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Enough already. I appreciate that. 1821. I have to work out which video that is. Alan Cook, hiya. Good morning, Alan. Hope you're all good, matey. Nick, I've welded for over 30 years and spray painted cars for 40 years, and I felt sick after every spray job, so smoking is not the worst thing. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I decided to start smoking, to be honest, was, I've already inflicted my body with so many really bad chemicals over the years that this probably isn't the worst. I know it's not good for you, though. It can't be. Anyway, enough about smoking. Let's try and ignore that for a bit. Connor, tap the like, show support. See, I've got really sticky fingers from all that meat now. Thank you, Connor. Peter Con, is any LS400 or 650 Suzuki in New Zealand? Yes, the LS400 and 650s are all here. Believe it or not, Mrs. Mechanic used to have an LS400. Good little bike. We sold it probably about 2 years ago. Really nice low seat height for us. She liked it, and it sounded great, but it was just a bit unreliable. There was a problem with the carb. It never seemed to idle properly, despite cleaning the carb and doing the valve clearances, and just never seemed to be spot on. Nick Young, it's such a pity that the nicest looking pie I've seen you eat is the second worst in the ratings. I know, but it's not all about the way it looks. I mean, it did look really good, and maybe if we had a category of saying, how does the pie look? Does it look appetizing? It would have got a 10 because it really, really did. But it was sort of a wolf in sheep's clothing was that pie. It just came out of the warmer. It went in okay. I did feel it being a little bit soft going in. I thought maybe it'll harden up as it cooks, but quite the opposite. The whole thing just, well, you saw as I pulled it off the tray in the pie warmer, off the rack, it leaked then. It was already ruptured. It was bad, really bad. It's not what a pie is all about. The casing of a pie is critical. Harry Darg, did you get all the metal brackets done yet? I did, Harry. They're all just sat on the bench behind me, or to my right. They're all done. We finished them off yesterday. They now are just waiting to be cleaned up and painted. We won't start the clean up till we've got the paint, and then Mrs. Mechanic can be cleaning them up, and I can be spraying them, and then we'll just hang them up to dry. Harry, I was late to the live stream this time. Don't worry about it, Harry. It's all good. Just pleased to have you here, to be honest. We've got 28 people watching and 22 likes. So 6 of you obviously don't. Well, actually, no, one of you is disliked. Two dislikes. What the hell? Record. So we're an hour and 16 minutes in. I've got 2 ROVs to underseal today. I have got other jobs that I can be getting on with as well. Although, to be honest, once I've finished undersealing, especially doing 2 back-to-back, I tend not to want to do anything else afterwards because I'm all covered in shuts and it's just nasty and you get all sweaty and it's just disgusting, to be honest. It's not too bad to do in the middle of winter when it's a dry day, but it's not. It's actually going to be quite hot today, so it's going to be a nasty job to do. So chances are I'll probably call it a day. But during the week, we're going to continue with the engineering side of it, the machining stuff, and we're going to finish the 15 kits for the front suspension braces so that all of those are ready to paint as well at the same time. So we're going to have a massive spray job. There's probably another, a ballpark, maybe another 100 components to spray with those suspension kits. So that's going to be 600 pieces to spray. That's far more than I've ever sprayed in a day before. And potentially it could be 2 coats. I don't know on the consistency of the paint I'm using. It's a new kind of paint. It's got the etching primer built into the paint, so I won't need to prime the steel first, which tends to affect the finish, but for these particular jobs, the finish is irrelevant, so it's all good. Simon, is there not a way you can just dip the brackets for speed? Ooh. I did think about that, again, with us having 20 litres of paint. I'll talk to the guys at the paint shop to ask them how successful that will be. My concern would be runs. I don't know how thick the paint is. I know I can thin it down to up to 15% with thinners. That is an option, and it would only then definitely require 1 coat because it'd be a lot thicker finish. I'll have to talk to the lads at the paint shop, but no, thank you, Simon. That's definitely worth exploring. It will be a lot quicker to do and a lot less messy for the workshop because I have to build a little mini spray booth out of cardboard and stuff, and it still gets on the beams. It gets on everything, to be honest. And I can't spray it outside. That wouldn't be fair on the neighbours. Alan Cook, how's Holly? Holly is okay. She's not brilliant. She's okay. Auckland's still in lockdown at the moment. But I think middle of December, things are supposed to start to get relaxed. Harry Darg, it's a shame they won't let you click on the like button a few times if that person wants to. That's a good point, Harry. That's a really good point. They should do that. Connor K, you just said 2 dislikes. Did you know that the dislike number is not displayed? Only the total likes. Interesting. I can see the dislikes and there's 2 on the screen. Very interesting. Bruce Cleaver, France 24, New Zealand 6. Oh, really? Come on, New Zealand, pull it out. Roger Heaps, starting to look like you could use a spray booth. I don't like spraying, honestly. It's just like a force majeure kind of thing. But you're right. Purple Monkey, 1974. Dislike shown on mine. Interesting. Simon, I can see the dislikes. So maybe it's regionalized. Maybe only certain parts of the world. Or maybe it's a trial thing that they're doing and they're only trialing it in certain areas. Very interesting. Because I did read on, I think it was on Facebook or somewhere, that YouTube had stopped doing the dislikes. But it's still there. Anyway, maybe it's going to stop in a few weeks. Maybe it's a forecast thing rather than a current thing. So, before we sign off, and I know it's a little bit early, but before we sign off, any more questions? I've got another busy week ahead of me. Lots to get done. Nick Young, I'm in Queensland, Australia, and I can see the 2 moronic dislikes. Thanks, Nick. Enough already. Kawasaki Sherpa KL250 engine and oil filter change. Hashtag 1821. Ah, yes, that was my brother-in-law's bike. Was it a 250 or a 200? I can't remember. It was a 250, that's right. I own an 07 KLR 650. Mike Bazanski's got a KLR 650, I believe, as well. You should form a club. There you go. Wow, that was a while ago, was that? And just out of interest, I know some of you already know this, but there's probably about nearly 100 videos on the channel doing various work on a particular brand of motorcycle, an ATV and ROV, which are currently not visible. And they can't be made visible or have public access until such time that basically, I'm not going to say the second one, until such time that I cease my current employment. Now, I don't want that to happen anytime soon. I actually really enjoy my job, the job that I have. It works extremely well with the rest of what I do. And they're a really good team that I work with. And I get a lot of ownership for the role. I just basically get on with it, which is nice. I can plan my own schedule and make everything work. There's a lot of freedom involved, which is good. And the pay is pretty good too, to be honest. Quite happy with that. So those videos will have to sit in abeyance until that happens. But when it does, you're going to see a very much younger Andy, that's for sure. Peter Kunn found you on the Suzuki GN250 videos, and I thought this guy is cool. Well, thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. It's not often I get called cool. Simon, unusual Andy has less hair then, lol. Yes, there's a lot more hair going on now, isn't there? Anyway, all fun. Harry, the only thing I don't like about bikes is the older, stupid drivers not paying attention. That's what makes it dangerous. Absolutely, when you've got mixed, and it's not just motorcycles. When you've got mixed vehicle types on the road, whether it's trucks and cars and motorcycles, cars and bicycles, you name it, it all becomes a little bit iffy, doesn't it? You know, I was driving down the motorway, heading south out of Auckland, and all of a sudden the traffic came to a standstill, and then we fortunately got going again, and it was just crawling speed, and there was a truck. Now the truck had a big trailer on the back as well, so it was like 2 big boxes behind the cab. I forget what they call it, almost like a road train kind of thing, but with 2 trailers. And clearly he'd cut in front of a car, by the looks of it anyway. I could be wrong, but it looked, the most likely scenario was he'd been overtaking a car, and he'd come back into the left lane, and his trailer had clipped the front of the car, and you could see it had stoved all the driver's side wing in, and it caused that car to spin out, and then the car had hit the barrier. Whether the truck driver was busy having his lunch or eating one of those pies and it was dribbling all down his legs and stuff, I don't know. But you know, it really is important that you keep aware of what's going on as much behind your vehicle as it is in front of it. And when you're doing an overtaking maneuver, you've got to be super careful that you've left enough gap. I'm always very conscious of that with a big trailer on the back. It is quite long. I mean, the trailer itself is, well, it's a 5.4 meter bed plus the A-frame. It's probably about 6.5 meters in total length, plus the length of the ute, and it's not a short ute. You know, you just got to give plenty of room for other road users. And the thing with motorcycles is they tend to, and you know, motorcyclists is they tend to dart around a lot. And in some cases, some riders themselves can be their worst enemy, because they're flicking around, changing lanes very quickly, a lot quicker than a car would normally change lanes. And they're looking for gaps. It does depend a lot on the rider, but there are some really bad riders out there. You know, you see the odd one that's just, the speed differential is tremendous. The traffic might be going 60 k's an hour and they're doing 100 k's an hour, just flicking through the cars. And it only takes one car to lane change just at the wrong time, and it'll take that biker out, no problem at all. And as a car driver, sometimes you just don't see them. You look in your mirror, there's nothing there. You indicate, you look in your mirror again, you start to pull across, and before you know it, there's a bike right next to the side of your truck. And you've done everything right. He's just appeared from nowhere, and he is what we call lane splitting. He's going between two lanes. So again, it's another variable that sometimes you don't consider when you're driving. It is a problem, and you're always going to get this conflict, unfortunately. Now then, where are we? Thank you again, Simon, for the hair comment. Appreciate that. Harry, I've done that one. Enough already. Oh yes, had a friend that had the resistor block go, and the dealer could not figure it out. He built his own after a dealer for 1.5 years. He has an 05 KLR 650. Wow. Connor K showing 25 likes and no thumbs down, streaming in Portugal. Thanks, Connor. So obviously Portugal's one of those countries that they decided that the dislike is a bad idea. Enough already. In the Northeast USA, I do not see dislikes, just likes. Maybe because I have only liked Andy Mechanic. Possibly. Thank you, enough already. Simon, the people who are not seeing the dislikes, are you subscribed to Andy? Good point. Very good point. Oh, and a good segue. The subscriber level, I think we're almost at, are we at 72,000 now? I don't know what we're at. It climbs up pretty quick, to be honest. Although, to be fair, in the last sort of few weeks, it has dropped a little bit because I haven't posted any new videos. I feel really bad for it. Let's have a look. What are we at? Subscribers. Lifetime. Dum, dum, dum. So, as of now, yes, 72,175 subscribers. That's pretty good, isn't it? And it only ever goes up. Although, to be fair, the live streams do lose me subscribers every single time I do a live stream. It's weird, I know, it's just the way it is. I accept it. I enjoy doing the live streams. I think it's important for the viewers. I've said this before, I'll say it again. They will continue. And if we lose a few subs, then so be it. You know, obviously they just don't like live streams, and why watch them, to be fair. Connor K, I am a long time subscriber to this channel. You are, Connor, and I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. Okay, crew. Well, we're about there. We're done. We're an hour and 12. We're nearly at an hour and a half anyway. So until next Sunday, there might be a video go out later in the week. I don't know yet. I really still want to get that little Myford lathe finished, stripped down, so Mrs. Mechanic can clean up the bed and clean up all the last few parts. Then it's ready for reassembly. And if we do need to order some more parts, it'll give me that opportunity to get that done. And then hopefully they'll be here before Christmas and we can do the rebuild over the Christmas period. If I'm not riding the DR200, which I should be. Everything's looking good. Obviously the DR does require a lot of still some work to be done. Not lots, but still some work. I ordered a new clutch pack for it the other day, so we've got a clutch video to do on that. And then there's a top box to fit and the radios to fit and mud guards to change and a new seat to go on. And I've got to do a full service on the bike as well. There's still quite a bit to do, and I've still got to collect the other front wheel from up north, but they're still in lockdown, so I can't go and get that at the moment. Yeah, it's all a bit up in the air, but I'll do my level best to get everything lined up so that if we can go, we will go. Definitely looking forward to it. It'd be great to do a few videos on the road again and on a bike that we've built up and done lots of work to be fair, and it only cost $50 when I bought that bike. I dread to think what it owes me now because I've spent a lot of money on it and a lot of time on it, but still, I've really enjoyed doing it, and there's still a bit more to go. Okay, crew, well, that summarizes everything on the DR200 very quickly. So there should be some more videos on that in the next few weeks. Just got to get this fabrication job out of the way and these last 2 ROVs back up to Auckland and one water service. And then we're done. God, it never ends. Okay, crew, well, until next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time. See you then. Until then, take care. And thanks for joining us. Cheers. Over and out.